folks, welcome again to URP Practical Talk, another week of our installment here. I am your host, Pastor Wendell Jeffrey. And for those of you who like to join us on the web, please remember to do so, www.urpguyana.com, and you will see some more about what the URP stands for, our code of ethics and our manifesto plans and so on. And you can also view this program on our YouTube channel at URP Guyana, right? So we want to thank you. We want to talk a little today. We join in our voices again in concert with the folks who are saying that we need to relook at the Guyana's constitution. Folks, we have to do that. The constitution as is works to the detriment of the Guyanese populace. There's no two ways about that. We know that. Everybody who's logical and reasonable is saying that. And so today we're going to talk about that. I have in the studio with me Dr. Vishnu Bandu, who is the leader of the URP. Doc, I want to welcome you again.
Thank you, Doc.
Thanks for coming so much. Doc, touch a little about the indentureship. You want to talk a little about indentured laborers and slavery as you have understood it. What is happening in your mind?
What is happening, Pastor? We have these two major races in Guyana, the Indian and the Black. One talks about indentureship, one talks about slavery. I know that it is very bad. We can't match what happened in slavery days, right? But the indentureship wasn't very much different than slavery because we've been getting peanuts for pay. All the time we've been getting peanuts for pay. The British had fooled our people from India, our foreparents. Some of they painted such a beautiful picture, like money was giving away in Guyana. Some of our people came willingly. Some was kidnapped in coming. Some was sold by their own people to the British. Right? So it wasn't much different. Same way how people come with slavery and die in ship, indentured labor people die also in ship and thrown overboard. So it was not different. But today, we cannot be able to explain the feelings because the slavery had it very hard. All over the world, you could see that. And there's no way you can say sorry about that. It can't compromise. But what I want to say today, we talked about the white people. The white people do this to us, the white people do that to us, and so forth. The white people used to be our master, in the sugar belt and all these things. By the way, the indentured labor, the Indian, they came because of the sugar belt.
Correct.
Right? But today we are seeing clearly, it is very sad to know that our own people are taking us down the road to slavery again.
What you mean by that?
Because people cannot survive with the money that they are working. It's just like going back to slavery days. Technically, you think about it. Right? We are going down that road of slavery by our leaders in this country. Because many of our people don't have 3 square meals a day in Guyana. And we're getting worse and worse, and government are making it, this administration is making it impossible for people to survive.
Okay, touch
Right?
out. In what ways? I'm just picking your brain because I got my own take on it too.
Yeah.
In what ways are you saying they're making it impossible for people to survive? What are some of the legislations? What are some of the rules and laws?
Well, if they start to create all these different kind of taxes, they try to bring this license, donkey card license, horse card license, and all these kind of things. Where the people barely making a livelihood from that. And now you bring in all these things. they can't pay them even to run in the road.
You know what I heard?
You know?
You know what I heard?
Huh?
I heard that the politicians determine how to tax the people and what level of taxes to impose based on how we spend. Meaning that if you have Guyanese who will go to rum shops, you got Guyanese who will go to nightclubs, that the government is saying, you guys can pay taxes. If you could drink out your money and smoke out your money, then you could pay taxes. What's your take on that?
Yeah, but you know why many people go to rum shop and things like that? Because they don't know any other thing. We don't have recreation in our villages. We don't have no sport complex. Very rare you got it in villages. You have nothing. So any least thing, even the young man, they have nothing to do, and they pass by the rum shop. They say, man, you know what? Let me go take a drink, man. Nothing there to do, you know. And beside that, many people, many adults, they make a rum and an excuse that this will take away my frustration, which is not true, but that's what their feelings. That, you know, if I go to the rum shop, I take a drink and this and that, all my worries and so on. But they fail to understand that will bring up the worries more.
So
you know,
it's the reverse then that is happening, because, like I said, some of the politicians think that if you could drink out your money, you could pay the taxes on it. But what you were saying that it might be a situation where the stresses of the country and the government is what is causing people to drink. So it's a kind of a chicken and the egg scenario.
Yes. So you can't go that way. You want these people to be occupied, create job for them, bring in industries. You know, look how I always mention in the United States, look, they got people all over the world. But you know what run it? A policy. They had a policy that where if you want to be a millionaire, you can work toward that. You want to be a billionaire, you can work toward that. And this is what the URP want to bring here to Guyana, that giving all of our young people an opportunity to build their life, to become millionaire and billionaire if they wish, you know. And then we don't have time to run into the rum shop and run here, because your thought will be on making money, and how to get your family more happy, how to make money to go on a holiday overseas, like every human being, you know. So if we create those kind of opportunity to people, well then definitely, you know, you wouldn't find so many people in rum shops and things like that.
All right. Huh? Doc, you're a businessman. What is your take on the process of starting a business or doing business in Guyana? Because you're a businessman. Is the climate conducive, the business climate in Guyana?
No, it's not conducive. First of all, if anyone who wants to start a business, the first thing we look at the climate in the country, and our climate is not right for business. Right now, many of our business people are trying to sell out and go away from Guyana. Right? Because number one, they are so much afraid because crime is building and building up more, while the government are telling people crime has gone down. You know, I don't know where they get that from. Why they keep on fooling people that crime is going down and crime is rising every day, right? Even foreign investor would not even think about coming to Guyana because of the crime situation. So it is very important for us to understand, if any country, any true businessman, knowledgeable businessman, when they first go to invest in a country, they look at the country situation, political situation.
Okay.
If the political situation is not conducive, right, then they will not come into it. Okay. If the crime situation is bad in that country, they will not come. And Guyana has a name for the bad crime than any other country.
All right. What about the processes that one has to go through to set up a business, getting the paperwork done, going through the different aspects? How is that in Guyana?
Everything is so slow in doing here. Look, we had a man from Cameroon recently here. They tell you that the maritime boat company who looks after the boat, they tell you gotta get license. But still, the process is so long to get the license. The process is so long to them to get captain license also. You know, so how you will able to survive? People come here with containers. I know. I just spoke to a guy who bring in a container from China. He said 3 months his container is at the wharf.
Wow.
He can't get it clear. Everybody wants a handout somewhere. You know, they all want handout. Everything is handout. Everybody, they're so accustomed to taking money under the table. Right? Nobody realized that, okay, they're getting paid to do a job, but they want additional pay from the people.
Yeah, but and I'm asking this here in a very loose way. You said earlier that the government is not paying to people sufficiently. So what people are doing is people are finding ways to supplement the income.
Definitely.
We know that the politicians, they legislate. So when they wanted to supplement their income, they just double their salary. But the man who is the civil servant out there, he can't go to his boss and say, look, you're paying me 100,000 a month. Can you pay me 200,000 a year? You understand? So what they're doing is that they are now finding a way to supplement the income by taking bribes. Do you understand what's happening?
No, I understand that clearly. I understand that clearly. Even the crime situation, since 1992 election, myself and Chedi used to sit around the table actually every week. We used to be before that election because I was in the PCD. And that's the first thing we talk about Guyana on the crime. Dr. Jagan said, yes, we'll do it. We'll change everything. Nothing never changed. Because if they had changed it, and I said this already on the TV, if they had changed the law and order, I'm sure the law is there, but it's not implemented. Because half of them would have been in jail today. And even this administration, some of them would have been already in jail. You know.
You're saying that if the last government as well as this government was to act on the laws, that it would implicate some of their...
Definitely. It will implicate them. Because they themselves are not clean. You know, many people in this government, they're not clean. You're seeing it. You know, you're seeing it clearly. You know, the old people said, you know, if you can see high data, you don't want a lamp to see at night.
To bring about a balance in Guyana, what's your focus? How do you think, it's a very difficult thing to do, but how do you think that the URP can help to bring about a balance that would even up some of the problems we have?
First of all, we have to start to pay the police properly. If we pay the police properly to do their job, and when we found out that they get bribe or anything like that, we jail them. No excuse. Our people who are in our government, as soon as they did any illegal act, we put them behind bar. No matter what minister, who they are, must go in behind the bar. You should be able to stand the consequence. And your penalty should be more than what the law said. Because you make the law. And you are breaking the law.
You're talking at the political level.
Yeah, political level.
But let me tell you what I'm hearing you say. You're saying that the police should be paid more.
Yes.
That persons who work in the government should be paid more.
Definitely.
And that if they are paid more, when once it is found out that they are involved in illegal activities, that they should be, a process should be in place to make sure that they are incarcerated, right?
Definitely.
But what I'm hearing you saying as a result of that is that until they are paid more, they have license to do what they're doing now. Is that what you're saying?
Well, definitely, because a person got, he'll listen. Pastor, if you have 5 children,
yes,
and they get up in the morning and they say, Mommy and Daddy, I'm hungry, you wouldn't believe you're an honest man what it will drove you to do.
You know, somebody shared a concept with me.
Know?
Hear this concept. I'm staying with that same argument. Here they told me. They said to me that within the police force, the upper echelon of the police force know of the corruption that takes place in the police force. But what they do is they allow the corruption to take place so that they could then hold the people who do the corruption, they could then use them to do what they want them to do. Because if a policeman knows, my inspector knows that I just take bribe or I just pull over people in the traffic and take money from them, then all what that inspector, that supervisor has to do is ask me for some money. He don't know that I corrupt. So I can give him the money, which allows me to remain in corruption. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that is kind of what is happening. It's not that people don't know what's happening. It's just that it benefits
them.
in the pecking order. They benefit from it.
Yeah.
So I understand what you were saying, that if you were to pay the people more money, then you could hold them accountable. But
Definitely.
That's not what's happening now.
No, it's not happening because they are not getting sufficient money to maintain themselves and their family. That is why I mentioned that we are going back in the slavery days. You know, we are going back in the slavery days, and our own people are taking us into the slavery days. They are the marshal. You know? So we've been blaming the white people all the time. Let us blame ourselves.
Wow.
What is happening?
Wow.
Huh?
Doc, I want to shift a little bit here because you have been traveling locally as well as overseas, and you've got some groups overseas, and you are claiming that the people who are operating in the embassies outside of Guyana might not be providing adequate support. And so what is the role of the ambassadors and those who represent Guyanese, are supposed to represent Guyanese overseas? What's happening in that front?
Well, the ambassadors overseas ought to represent their country, represent their people. See what business venture and so forth that country where they are in, what business venture they can have with our country and those countries. You know, it reminds me when I was in India, I think it was last year only. I had a 2-hour meeting with the acting ambassador. And he told me, he said, since he went in there, he talks about this clay brick factory, which is very good for Guyana. And he sent all the information to this government, you know. And he was talking mainly about Mackenzie. And when I see the clay brick factory, I went and visited them.
Okay, in India?
In India. I thought about Mackenzie right away because Mackenzie has the kind of clay to make these bricks, right? We are importing bricks instead of making our own bricks. And he said, up to now, that was 1.5 years ago, he sent the information to the government and they never replied, you know? So some of the ambassadors probably have things at heart to represent their country. Look at all the ambassadors from different countries who are in Guyana. Look at, for instance, the Chinese ambassador. The Chinese ambassador is here doing heavy business with China and this country to develop China more, although they are so developed.
Correct.
Right? But we are, they call us third world country. Our ambassador is not doing those kind of work to help develop our country. Because why? Because some of them who also are trying to do it, the top bracket over here, pay no mind to them because they're so hungry of their own pocket to be filled. They don't care about nobody else.
Do you think that what do you think might be the problem in Guyana? Because it didn't happen under the last administration and it doesn't seem to be happening under this administration. What do you think our problem is? Why are we not, with all the resources we have in Guyana? I know we're talking about oil coming on stream in another few years and so on. But with all the resources that we have, why is it that none of our governments is able to take us to another level? Why are we still broke and poor and sick and backward and crime-ridden? And what do you think will take us? You've been around a long time. What do you think will take us to another level? Because I want to say this as a pastor. People say to me, oh, Jeffrey, the country need to pray more. Well, you got corruption in Trinidad, you got homosexuality in Barbados, you got gay and lesbianism happening in Canada and America, and yet the people in those countries, if you want to say it's a God thing, Guyana is no more anti-God or we no more spiritually backward. So what it is about Guyana, is it a curse? It is a mentality? Is it the racism? It
is not a curse. It is not a curse. I wouldn't believe in that, but a curse. I believe these leaders, what we put there, the ego is so much in them. The selfishness is so much. They tell you anything to get your votes. And when they go in there, they service themselves like high and almighty. They service their family and their close friends. They don't care about the poor class of people. Look, when Chetty Jagan was started in politics in Guyana, he talks about the poor people. Do you hear any one of these politicians ever talks about the poor people? These politicians, this government, and the last administration, they only go around those people who have money in their pocket. They don't go around to the ordinary person. But I'll tell you this, Pastor, it's the ordinary people, the real people in this country. It is the grassroots people, the real people in the country. Because if those people doesn't support these rich men, they can't get rich and richer. Right? And if they can't get money to survive, how would they get money to go and support these rich men in buying from their store and all these things? They can never get it.
Okay,
so this is what's happening right now in Guyana.
Right.
All the industry is done. Right? Guyana government, show me one of the Guyana government industry that they run ever make profit. None never make profit. Why? Bad management. Because the government of the day, what they do, they bring their family in to manage something. They manage one of the area or the company has 100 employees. Yes, you got a little paper from University of Guyana. You come, you sit down here, I give you this to manage this. You never manage one person in your life before. But you get 100 with $100 million. What do you think you'll do with it? Take it and put it in your back pocket because you don't know nothing more what to do. And that's what has been happening in Guyana. And this is practical, right? Everybody comes here and they find position because they are in the political party. You know, I agree. The people work hard in the political party, want to support them. But if the people are not qualified for that position, you are carrying the country down and down, right? So if you got 1 inch brain, I always say this, you can't go 1 1/4.
All right, good.
Right?
Now, let's look at this thing now. You are traveling across the country. You just said that it is the small man who is responsible for making the politicians big. What are you hearing as you travel? Are the people still willing to support the same constant PVP, PNC? What are you hearing as you go there? Is there hope for Guyana?
There is hope for Guyana, and that hope is the URP, and that's what I'm hearing all over where I go to Guyana. I will tell you this: if I heard 2% of the people saying about the present government and the past government, I heard enough. I ain't hearing that. Right? But I don't know what they're going to fabricate when the election time comes and go and push it into these people's head, because our people are not educated politically in Guyana. Okay. Right? Our people in Guyana are going behind the twist here and the straight here. Wow. Right? Which is very, very dangerous in our country. And this is why I'm saying over and over and over, this country belongs to all of us. And all of us should have the equal right. The millionaire has 1 vote. the grassroots man had the same vote. You have no difference, right? Our people have to open their eyes and start think clearly that if we want to change honestly in Guyana, we got to change this mentality. We got to change the way of our thinking. We cannot go down in races. We are following the PPP, who is a communist who doesn't believe in God, and we said we believe in God, but we still vote for them. That puts us in we are a hypocrite. You know, when you can do that. The other one said they're socialists and they believe in God. President Granger said he's a churchman. If he was a churchman, then our country would not have been in this position. He would not have treated people as the way he's treating them, without even consulting with them, without discussing with them. He would not have done that. So we have a serious, serious problem. We are putting square pegs in round hole all the time in Guyana. We keep on doing that. The last administration doing it, this administration doing it. And they keep on. So what Guyana is looking for? Guyana is looking for honesty, sincerity, most of all, love. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't love your people.
Talk a little about that. We come up to the top of the hour there, but spend another 30 seconds and talk about that love that you feel.
If you have love, Pastor, you will be able to love your people. You will be able to treat them with dignity, in sincerity, with honesty. I am telling everybody, if you want to hear lies, go to the PPP and PNC. If you want to be honest and truthful, listen to us. Because our platform would not tell you lies. Because I do not believe in that. I do not believe in lies. All my life, I have tried to be as honest as possible. I'm not telling you I'm a saint, right? But I am more honest than any one of them. I am more sincere than any one of them who are in government and who was in past in government, because I know what they did. I know many things, what they have been doing, right? It's not I don't know, but I care for my people. I always say that I will give my life for my people. My son was here the other day, tell you that.
He was. Yes,
you know,
yes,
that
he was.
Guyana is my motherland. These people are my people. I do not look at them with twists here and straight here. In fact, I am very much against many people, or even my own people in Guyana, when they start talking about race, my head, everything caught fire.
I know, I see that. I see that. Doc, we come to the top of the hour. I like it when you get passionate. I like how you speak. And one of the things that really was very good for me was hearing your son when he came on a few times and talked about how he loves you and he admires you. For a son who is now an adult to talk about the openness of his dad and the fact that you are not racial in your views and the children that you have raised, even though they are Indian by descent, they don't see racism. That was very good. Folks, we come to the top of the hour. You heard us. We're playing with you. Guyana needs help. And it needs your help. We can do this. We can do it. Objective, okay? Let's move around the deck a little bit so that politicians will know that they don't have a right, okay? They don't have a right to be politicians. They have a right to be servants. And if they're not serving, let's move them around. Visit us on the web, www.urpguyana.com, on our Facebook page at URP Guyana. We thank you for joining us. Join us again next week on this same station, same time. Until then, God bless you real good. Bye-bye.